Yan.
Hello guys, good evening. Tonight I'm going to give you an overview of your subject, which is economic development. An overview means, in most textbook, overview usually is covered in the preface, no? The overview of the subject. Or maybe an overview is separate from the preface. At any rate, most textbooks begin with an overview. Now, considering that we don't have a specific textbook that we are using, the overview will come from me based on my teaching years of teaching experience. So, why? Because I lost my copy, but you can use any textbook in economic development as long as it talks about the topic that we are going to cover in your course. No? Every chapter I will upload in the internet ahead of time the materials that you are going to read. So it's an eclectic. We pick and choose topic we think are very important or very relevant to our understanding. So at any rate, we shall begin with definition, no? What is economic development? Again, development, this is what I thought when I was thought about economic development during my college days. I'm still using this because I believe this definition is clear, concise, and meaningful. Very simple and yet terrible. Development, according to the author, I forgot the author that we used at that time. I probably just mentioned the Jesuit priest who taught the economic development to us. That was Reverend Father William Nicholson. No? According to him, development is increase in income per capita. Per capita means per person. But it doesn't stop there. It should also include other changes, necessary changes. These are structural changes that must take place if increase in income should mean real development. So, very meaningful, no? Very touching, no? Income to me is not the only measure. It's not the only measure, no? Size of income is not the only measure of how developed a country is. Let me use a simple analogy, no? For example, Manny Pacquiao is a great boxer, amazing boxer. He won 8 division. And if you compare the size of Manny Pacquiao to that of, let's say, a 7'4" person, you might say that the size of Manny Pacquiao is undeveloped compared to a 7'. I don't think so. Just like in economic development, size is not the only measure of development. Right? There are other changes that must take place. What are those changes? Okay? Number one, changes in people. Okay? In economic development, people, particularly people involves about human capital, no? The skills of the people, their education, their health, etc., or any development of a human person necessary for them to become very productive member in society. This is what we call in management or in business management, human capital, right? Human capital. So that's changes in human capital. Another structural change that is very important, changes in the level of demand, or in management subjects, they call this one as a standard of living. Development means better food, better clothing, better transportation, better homes, ba? Everything is better, no? Increase in the standard of living. Alright? So not only people change productively in terms of labor productivity, the standard of living as well goes forward, no? And another very important, of course, is the level of technology. You can have increase in income per capita, but if there is no technology, it would be impossible to reach the next level of development. You need to have the techniques in production. Techno means techniques. Logi means study. Techniques in production that will push the economy towards higher and higher income per capita. Right, so these are the changes that must take place. Now, economists also, compare development from one country to another. They have indicators used to compare economic development, no, from one country to another. One of that indicator they use is income per capita. That is very important, no? Income per capita. Okay? One indicator is income per capita. Based on our definition, it is the initial, the initial term that is used. Increase in income per capita. That is why it's a very important indicator of development. Okay? But as I have said, it's not the only indicator that we should use. There are other indicators now. Like for example, some economists use a term like purchasing power, no? Purchasing power of our money based on dollar. Purchasing power parity. For example, what is the purchasing power of peso against the US dollar compared to the purchasing power of yen or ringgit or Malaysian rupiah compared to a peso? So with the purchasing power, which is definitely dependent upon foreign exchange rate, somehow they can compare the economic performance of the country internationally, no, compare with one country to another. So purchasing power parity. Another is they use life expectancy, no? Although this is a demographic variable, but life expectancy is also an indicator. For example, if China has on the average higher number of years people expect to live, therefore China or Japan have higher economic development, no? Index based on life expectancy. Alright? Other are also used mortality rate, no? Mortality rate of children below 5 years old, no? If a country has lower mortality rate, that means children easily die. Children below 5 years old easily die, probably because of lack of nourishment of the parents, or etc. etc. That indicates somehow, no, the standard of living, and therefore that also indicates kind of that also speak about, in some extent, the level of development. And then some use education rate, no? Education rate or literacy, di ba? They use adult literacy. Why adult? Because adult are the one working. Literacy, where the family depends. Okay? By the way, I'm just giving you some examples. These are just only 5 indicators, but there are more. But the more holistic measure of development, according to the United Nations Cooperation, Trade and Development, and also by the World Bank. World Bank use what we call Human Development Index. Human Development Index, or HDI. Human Development, or HDI. According to the World Bank, this is a weighted measure, weighted. 1/3 of income index plus 1/3 of life expectancy plus 1/3 of education index. Education index. So you have now 3 dimensions. No? Education, because education is an important factor in development, especially when we talk about human development. And also life expectancy, the health of people. And of course, that follows the income index. So according to World Bank, this is a more or less holistic measure of economic development. Now, the formula of income index is based on minimum and maximum PPA based on GDP per capita. So the maximum income per capita a nation can get, let's say, based on purchasing power, parity. This is already compared internationally based on purchasing power parity or foreign exchange rate. GDP per capita. The maximum is $40,000. Right? 40,000. And the minimum is said to be around 100. This is the barest minimum that a country like, let's say, Somalia or etc., mga poor countries, is $100 per annum. So now we can calculate the income index. Let's say a country has a current income of, let's say, 2,000. Current income of $2,000 per annum. So we can use the formula now of income index, which is log current income minus log minimum over, we have log maximum, log maximum minus log minimum. Right? So all we need to know is what is the maximum, what is the minimum, and what is the current. Right? So now we can compute log maximum, what is current, is 2,000. So log 2,000 minus log, what is the minimum? Minimum is $100 over log, what is maximum, which is 40,000 minus log minimum. log 100. So now, we can calculate what is log maximum. Log maximum, which is how much? Log current income. Log 2,000. Where is log here? Where is log here? Log 2,000, which is actually 3.301 minus what is log minimum, or log 100. Well, log, that's 2 zeros, that's minus 2 over log 40,000. 1, 2, 3, 4.60205 minus, which is 2, right? Log minimum. This gives us how much? 1.301 over 2.60205. So our income index now is what? Income index is 1.301 divided by 2.60205. Our income index is 0.4999. Right? Okay? No? So here, let us plug that value here. Income index is 0.4999. Right? The life expectancy is based on current life expectancy minus the minimum expectancy over maximum expectancy minus minimum life expectancy. Okay, for example, the minimum life expectancy is determined to be around the minimum is to be around 25 years old, no? For example, a country like, a country that has plenty of pirates, like Somalia. In Somalia, if you go to Somalia, you can seldom find old people. What you see are mostly young people who are pirates. Why? Because people die early. No? People die early. So that is one good example. No? And the minimum years now, no, of life expectancy is 25 years, according to World Bank. And estimated average maximum is 85 years. So this is maximum. 55 years, right? So you will have current life expectancy minus minimum